Welcome to another edition of Beer for Breakfast, ABV, and welcome back to Beer for Breakfast. One of the first guests we had on when we basically rebooted the show with Paul, and that is our friend from Rancho Bernardo from the 92128, Derek Gallinosa from Abnormal Beer Company. How you doing?
Doing all right.
Good to see you again, buddy.
Yeah. Happy to be here. Share some beer.
Yeah. I am totally digging this shirt, by the way, this Coachella shirt. That is really cool.
Yeah, it's right on my show where it's something that would represent Abnormal Beer Company, but
that's cool.
It kind of still plays into...
As someone who just got rid of my VHS tapes about half an hour ago, that's very nice to see. So you brought along 3 beers that we're going to try, and the first beer we're going to try is basically your classic West Coast style IPA, the Boss Point.
Yeah, it's my take on the West Coast style. Just clean, crisp, a lot of just hop forward notes in it. Not a lot of malt character. You can notice it's pretty light in color. So I just want the hops to shine. Recently we just switched from using Nelson and Citra in the dry hop to using Mosaic and Citra. So just kind of like really brightens it up. And also we stopped using Biofine, which clarifies the beer post-fermentation. I thought it retained a lot of hop character without using that. So left it out, and it's a little hazy, but it's not like a hazy style IPA. It's still one that you can drink pint after pint of.
So not only do people not mind having a little bit of haze in their beer nowadays, they actually think it's cool. They actually like it.
Yeah. It's like, it's not hazy enough. It's not juicy enough. So, with
freshness or something.
With this one, I mean, you could definitely see through it. It's just not crystal clear. But I personally like it like this better. It's all about the taste at the end, right? Yeah.
Which is what people should be focused on, right? Not how it looks.
Yeah.
Anyway, cheers.
Cheers, you guys. Cheers.
Yeah. So this beer has been by far the most popular beer at the restaurant. So at our the Cork and Craft, we have 40 taps. Right now, 16 are in-house beers. So we really upped the amount in past months, including about 6 IPAs right now. So that's
You've been a busy brewer, man.
Yes. Yeah. Right now, I'm the only one, too, in the brew house. We have one sales rep and then me, and that's what is Abnormal Beer Company right now. So
we're looking to hire some help?
Looking for another brewer. We're doing some interviews right now. We may find a guy. We may have found a guy, but nothing for sure yet. And then down the road, we'll kind of expand from there.
Wow, right on.
So when you're looking for a brewer, what are you looking for? Because I'm sure when you were giving your break and whatnot, are you kind of looking for the same thing, ambition and?
Yes, they have to have that. They have to have ambition. They have to have drive. They also have to kind of work by themselves and kind of guide themselves. Like I was saying, it's just me right there in the brew house. So I got to handle some other things, kind of the direction of the company overall. So I need that guy to kind of plug and play and just kind of go forward, have some experience to where he can take a recipe and execute it after a few runs doing some training. But definitely need someone with experience, and passion and drive is a must.
I was going to say, look for passion, and everything else kind of falls into place most of the time.
Yeah, exactly. But you do get those people who are like, I love beer, blah, 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 but I have no idea how to brew. And it's like, those are people that didn't get the interview. So luckily we got we got a few candidates that on paper that look great. There's other brewers in the city, other brewers out of the city that wanted to work in our company, and felt pretty nice about that. We didn't have to try too hard putting it out there. It seemed like we built a good thing that people want to join in on.
Yeah, for sure. You got a good, reputation around town. A lot of cred.
Now you're looking at 16990 Via T-Zone in Rancho Bernardo.
Correct. Yeah.
And are there a lot of other breweries over in that part of North County?
The only other one around there is you got the Carl Strauss, the restaurant, which is down the street.
I've heard of them.
Yeah. They're somewhat popular.
I hear they're new around here. New brewery.
Who are those guys?
And then across the freeway we got Second Chance. So Second Chance is a couple exits down, and they're doing some great things as well.
Shout out to Marty.
Alrighty, really helped us out when we got started.
Now I seem to recall when you were here last year that you were still a rather new brewery.
Mm-hmm.
How old are you now?
2 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So
nice
2 years and a couple
job.
months.
Yeah. Made it to the second year?
Yeah.
That's good.
Made it to the second year, passed the second year, and what we have going on is we added more tanks since the last time I was on. Right now it's 440 barrels of fermentation capacities, and we only have a 10-barrel brew house, so that's 44 turns to fill up all those tanks. And that's why I do need definitely another brewer, or 2 or 3, you know? So that's in plans. We just built out a huge cooler. We rented out a warehouse space, built out a cooler. It's the size of Firestone Walker's in Paso Robles. So it can hold almost 500 pallets of beer. It's on a rotating or kind of a movable track system, so we could create just a high-density cooler in there. And it's not just all for us. We're actually going to share it. We found there was a shortage in cold storage when we were starting out, so we wanted to kind of pay back and create that for other breweries. So it's only for breweries that we're going to rent out the space. We have some people lined up that want to take advantage of that because it's just a couple lights off of the freeway, just like our restaurant. So it's a good central location within North End.
That's pretty smart. Yeah, we were looking for some extra cold storage at Strauss, and it was really expensive. So plus, as you guys continue to grow, you might be able to take over more of that space for yourselves. And
one of the first rules that you learn running a bit or opening up a brewery is plan for expansion.
Right.
Have that area in which you can grow into. You may not need it now, but you definitely will need it in the future, especially in San Diego. Yeah.
Didn't you guys add some barrel storage space as well?
That's actually in the same warehouse, so that I don't even know how many barrels we can add, but we definitely have a certain section allocated for barrels as well. So we haven't released any barrels yet, but we do have within the next couple months, I would say 7 different barrel age beers coming out. Yeah.
So there'll be some big bottle releases. We can all look forward to.
It's going to be rapid fire. It's going to be like every 2 weeks there's going to be a little bottle release going on. So,
right on. Keep your eyes out.
It's been a while. I think.
So how new is the hashtag Yeast Mode?
That is 2 weeks old. We made it for...
Okay, so this is brand new.
It's a one-off too. So, and it's almost out. I think we only had 2 kegs allocated, 3 kegs allocated for the restaurant because it got pre-sold like crazy the week before it actually came out to the rest of the county in Southern California.
I was still enjoying the Boss Pour.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right, though. It is brighter. It is hoppier and... it's got kind of a fresher flavor.
Yeah, I think so. I like it. That's kind of like that, and then we also make an English Pale Ale back at home, and those are 2 like after work. Those are what I'm drinking. So this one, hashtag Yeast Mode. It's made with the brewery from Orange County. They're kind of... It's Offshoot Beer Company. It's their IPA brand underneath that brewery umbrella. So they created a different brand dedicated only to IPAs or hop-forward beers. And this one is the first collaboration that they've done outside of their brewery.
It's kind of the opposite of what Pizza Port Lost Abbey did, right?
Yeah.
And this is slightly stronger as well.
8.3%. This one, it's done in the hazy style. It has a little bit more a lot more protein content in it. You notice it's once again not clarified. Doesn't use that enzyme to clarify it. Quite hazy, but I think that also kind of retains hop flavor in a different way. It kind of has that little spice to it as well. This one, the name comes from the fact that we had to kind of gather all this IPA yeast. So there's 3 different hop strains, and then there's a Conan London 3 and some dry yeast, some USO 4. So we just tried to get enough sol count to create the beer, and it was drawing from 3 different tanks in order to do so. The dry hops on here are Citra, Idaho 7, and Eureka. So a couple of newer varieties with Eureka and Idaho 7, but I think they're great in IPAs, and they bring a lot to this particular style.
How did you like working with the Idaho 7?
It's one of my favorite hops. I think that and Mosaic now are my favorite hops. You get a lot of stone fruit from Idaho 7, and it has the assertiveness to kind of stand up to those other heavy hitters like Mosaic, Citra, Nelson, Simcoe. So I think it's a great addition. It could hold its own within the whole IPA hop realm.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah.
This does have hints of stone fruit in there. It's also got a nice lemon rind kind of flavor.
And once again, the grain bill's just pretty simple, nice and pale, and just letting the hop shine. That's what I like to do with the IPAs.
So are you now convinced that the hop particles bind with the yeast cells? And
I think maybe not the yeast. I think the protein.
The protein?
Yeah. That's because it drops out just like the same amount of yeast. I feel like, but dry hop.
I asked 10 different brewers that
Yeah,
same
yeah,
question.
that's all
I get
theory.
10 different answers on it.
I don't have enough time to really research it. It just works. You know? You throw in some hops, create a different grain bill. So I mean, everything. Even though it's an IPA, it's tastes similar to the other the West Coast style. But there's so many different variables that are different. There's the mash temp, the fermentation temperature, the grain bill, the hop rate, the dry hop schedule. It's all different. So and also even the water profile. I mean, I take a lot of pride in creating different recipes for each water profile of each beer. I think it really shows in the final product of depending on which style I'm brewing.
Are you going with like harder water for most of your hoppier beers?
Well, we start off with deionized water. It's pretty much completely stripped out. So I think 2 parts per million on that, and then add back a combination of 7 different minerals and acids to get the water profile how I want it. And that's just getting the certain mineral content up to par, as well as having the pH at a certain level. With this particular one, I want to have the chlorides a little bit higher to kind of have like a kind of like chalkier, or not chalkier, but it's more mineral mouthfeel, whereas the sulfates are a little bit higher on the Vospor, or at least the ratio is, to kind of create that pop and flavor and that crispness. So I think different water profiles go well with different style beers.
Flavors that you're looking for.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's also a way of differentiating those different IPAs from each other.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of playing to the style and making it perform the best that it can as far as mash quality, as well as the finished product and the taste.
So, and as a brewer and as a beer drinker, how do you feel about this style of beer, the hazy IPA? Because I feel like it's very half and half.
All right, so you said a brewer and a beer drinker.
Yes, yeah. What's your I know that they're 2 different answers.
When you're a brewer, you have to sell beer, and this sells like crazy. So right now as far as what we have at the bar, I think it's like 4 hazy IPAs and then 2 West Coast style. But as a beer drinker, I prefer the West Coast style. I want the clean, crisp, But it's fun to try the hazy stuff, and a lot of people are doing it. And because there is no real literature on how to do it, I want to see everyone's take on it. Like I never ask for recipes. I want to develop my own. I think I have the ability to kind of taste something and kind of like, understand how the flavor was created from the recipe, from the yeast, from the hops, and all that. So I never try to ask for recipes. I just kind of want to create it on my own. So been doing the hazy style for I'd say like 4 or 5 months right now, and just trying to get better batch after batch.
Do you think that this is going to be a style that sticks around, or do you think that this is just kind of like a fad that people are into right now?
I definitely think it's something that'll stick around.
Yeah.
I mean, some people solely like hazy IPAs. They're like, that's all I drink.
Yeah, I had somebody come to the bar on Saturday asking for a hazy IPA, and I was like, we don't actually make one. And they're like, what?
Yeah, I mean, it's a style that, it's smart as a business to create it. You have that demand, and it's also fun to make because there's no one else, unless you're really asking around, you really don't have anything to read, anything to follow, so you kind of have to create your own. So my approach to it was, all right, I'm tasting this, it has this mouthfeel, it has this hop character, it looks like this. All right, in my head, I'm going to create this grain bill, this mash temperature to get this mouthfeel. Like all the different variables are a result of what I tasted and what I know from brewing, and how to create what each beer style is.
Yeah, some guys are using a lot of oats and wheat to get a lot of that protein in there.
Yeah, there's a lot of oats and wheat in here.
London 3 yeast.
No, I use mainly dry yeast. That's fun. I think you guys use it as well, like a lot of dry yeast. It's solid.
No problems. Works great. Easy to use.
So hashtag yeast mode, it is limited. So if you want to
I think it's barely on its, I think it's about to be on its last keg or on its last keg at the Cork and Craft. And then it's been spread out amongst 20 different bars and restaurants 2 weeks ago. So it may still be on, but it's not a guarantee.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and so the final beer that we're going to try today is the M3 Imperial Stout.
Correct.
And this one certainly packs a wallop.
Yeah. So this is a bottle release that we did back in I believe January, and it kind of shows. So I love doing IPAs and I like doing big Imperial Stouts, Imperial Porters, because it provides such a great base for other flavors. I take a lot of inspiration from. Oh, hold on.
Wait a minute.
There you go.
Oh yeah. I take a lot of inspiration from the kitchen that we have. We have a nice kitchen that does really high quality food. Our chef Scott Cannon is actually in the finals for Zagat's National 30 Under 30 contest.
Wow.
So,
That's great.
they used to pick out with different regions 30 chefs under 30 years old. Now they're doing a national list, and our chef is a top 45. So results are this September, and it just kind of shows
impressive.
the quality of food that we have pumping out of the Cork and Craft. I take a lot of inspiration from them. So I make an Imperial Stout and I kind of layer it with flavors. I layer it, this has Madagascar vanilla beans, Costa Rican coffee, and cacao nibs from Ghana. They all get treated differently into the beer. So different temperatures, I do a little recirculation tactic, and each ingredient has a different speed on the pump, different temperature in the tank that it gets introduced, and a different amount of time in which it has on the beer. So for example, coffee is a little, it's a little assertive, it's a spice, so that's only like 18 to 24 hours. But vanilla, sweet spots around like 5 days on a recirculation at room temperature. So it's that, the beer doesn't end after it gets fermented, or it doesn't end after it leaves the brew house. It's when it finally hits the package. And leading up to that point, there's so many different variables that I love playing with. It's fun. So I don't like making simple beer.
Wow.
Try
topping that, macro brewers.
So with this one, it's a 12.4% Imperial Stout, vanilla, coffee, and cacao nibs. It was done with a brewer out in Florida, Corey. He is about to open a brewery called Three Sons. Out in just north of Miami, and with this one, it was just like we wanted that big, viscous, mouth-coating flavor.
The aroma on this is just magnificent,
intense.
man.
Well, and the coating, when you look at your glass, like it stays. It doesn't just like come right back to. It stays there.
It doesn't drink like 12.4.
No.
Nope. I think the vanilla really rounds out the flavor. It kind of takes away, adds a little perceived sweetness. It takes away some of the bitterness. It takes away some of the alcohol. And I think it just kind of, I wish we could get more, but as a lot of people know, vanilla just skyrocketed in price.
Yeah.
You know, we just got some, but
in tiramisu, like make it with the tiramisu.
Oh yeah,
Tiramisu.
drop some ice cream in there, you know.
Oh yeah,
Some hazelnut ice cream?
Yeah. Cheers.
Yeah.
That's really good, man. I love this beer.
So Paul, would this be a beer that you would lay down and let age for a little bit longer?
I would, yeah. I think, I think after a year or so, the flavors would kind of marry together, integrate together.
Oh my.
You might even
Right?
start getting some like dried fruit flavors, raisins, dates, prunes.
As it starts to age, it gets a little like dark fruit flavor, but like more like we were saying, like raisins and prunes. This is not even barrel aged either, so.
Oh wow.
I was able to.
Did
create
you barrel
this.
age any of this?
Yes.
Oh,
And
that's
that's part of the. I think we have that scheduled for. We just did the scheduling today for a lot of the releases, and we're looking at that probably till the end of September is when we're going to release that one. But there may be some previews here and there at certain events around town. I like doing previews to kind of get a feel for what people are thinking, and that kind of determines our marketing plan and how we promote it.
Can you imagine a little oak and bourbon?
Oh man, it's not
mixed
that
in
far
with-
off.
Oh
is
yeah.
it?
yeah.
That'd be like 2 more layers on top of what's already got about
Just for
4 different
sipping.
layers going on.
But I do have a little bit of that bourbon warm feeling inside drinking this too.
Oh yeah.
My
Oh,
tummy
yeah.
feels nice right now.
Yeah.
I actually make a beer. I think I brought it last time. It was called Tummy Cuddles.
I think you did.
Yeah. Because it just feels all cuddly in your tummy.
What? And my tongue.
Oh yeah. Taste buds are happy with this one.
Yeah.
Well, and it doesn't stick with you for a long time either. Like you get it, but then it goes away. Like those
It's
flavors.
drinkable. That's
yeah.
the thing. It's not clonely sweet. It's not overdone.
It leaves you wanting
kinda
another
want,
sip.
You want more.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of imperial stouts out there that are a little bit too bitter, a little bit too roasty, and it's kind of a turnoff to where it's like, yeah, I just want a taste of it and I'm good. But with this one, my intention is to want you tasting more, with all the beers.
And the coffee sometimes comes through too roasty or too astringent, but not this. This comes across like
you get it on the aftertaste. You taste it right now,
nice.
maybe. Oh, and that's what the thing is. So we kind of did I work with Moster Coffee. They're up in Carmel Mountain. And for this particular beer, me and the collaborator, Corey from Three Sons, we sat down with Mostra and we did a little tasting of all the different varieties that they offered. We did a cupping, a straight like coffee cupping, where you had the,
That's fun,
the
isn't
dry,
it?
yeah, and then you kind of break the crust and kind of like smell it, taste it, and you get to determine what beer or what coffee works well with this particular beer. So we chose a Costa Rican one. It's a little on the lighter side, but it was very complex. It had a lot of earthy qualities to it, a lot of nuttiness to it, and it wasn't that bold, like chocolate and roast characteristics that you get with some of, that you get with some of the other ones. So with this one, the intention was to have coffee there, but it was to show kind of like the different like nuances of a coffee profile versus just straight, bold, chocolatey, roasty. And this was actually made in, it's called M3. It's called for Mostra's 3rd anniversary. So,
okay.
So
Nice.
Yeah, shout out to them. Like this was made for them, so we can't leave that out.
Mostra makes good stuff, man.
Yeah.
And so this is going to be much more readily available than the yeast mode, the hashtag yeast mode.
No, not at all. This one.
No?
This one's actually probably the rarest bottle that we ever created.
Get it while you can.
Yeah, so I just wanted to bring it here to just kind of show the styles I enjoy creating. But that one actually sold in January, 1,000 bottles. It sold on 9 seconds online on our website. It was just here and
Wow.
Well, and you're doing these releases fairly frequently. I follow on social media, and every time I see a bottle release, like they're gone instantly.
We haven't done one since about February or March, but we do have we've been waiting on doing our own bottling. So we got this small bottling machine that we're going to operate and do our releases. So we have control of what size bottle we have that we release and the quantity. So there's no minimums or certain sizes that we have to abide by. With this particular one, it's the most popular, but I'm looking to beat it with the barrel aged stuff, and that's what we have coming out. Some barrel aged stuff. We got a couple collaborations. Only 2 other beers with vanilla, and I think that's about it until the prices go down. But we got some of those coming out as well.
You began to go into my next question, which was what's coming up next. So you're sort of edging into that a little bit.
Yeah, so we always like doing can releases with IPAs, and because we don't have the on-site cold storage for where we have to release it, those ones, unfortunately, we have to let people line up and get it out of our inventory as fast as possible because we have nowhere to store it for you to pick it up. So we have 1 or 2 of those coming up within the next 3 months. And then as far as bottles, we are going to sell, the first one coming up is the first barrel age release. But unfortunately, it's going to be in a collaboration package with some sunglasses. So 9.5, which is, they're from Chula Vista,
dig
where
it.
we're from.
Yep.
And 9.5 created these custom sunglasses for us. And I created a custom beer for them. So we're going to sell it together. It's going to be just a one-off. It's the first barrel-aged beer. So it's going to be a High West rye barrel-aged Imperial Stout that's been aged for a year with cinnamon and cacao nibs. So it tastes like a snickerdoodle, like a chocolate dip snickerdoodle. And
Nice.
That's going to be sold only with the glasses. So unfortunately, the only way you could get the beer is if you buy the glasses too, but the glasses are really cool, so I highly recommend it. We'll be doing a few hundred of those, or a couple hundred of those, and at the same time, we'll also be releasing a beer that we did for a bar up in Santa Ana. It was kind of, they came to me with a cool idea, and it was, come meet me at this coffee shop. They make this unique drink. I want you to recreate it. And it was a Cafe Nico. And the Cafe Nico at that time, I guess it kind of rotates, but with that, it was whatever was in-season citrus. They made a citrus syrup. They put espresso in it, steamed milk, and then they shaved some cinnamon on top of it. So, kind of taking that idea, I ran with, it was an imperial milk porter with cinnamon and blood orange puree. So that's what's going to come out at the same time as well. So it's good. Yeah, it was weird to have like citrus and all those other flavors, but after tasting that drink, I was like, oh, I know it works now. So
Does it taste like one of those chocolate things? That
yeah, the little like
that
chocolate
you,
covered yeah, a little bit. So it's going to have, definitely that citrus quality to it, but also heavy flavors of chocolate and cinnamon as well. So that's going to come at the same time, and then more barrel aged stuff. I made a beer in Florida called Big Papa. It was with a brewery called J. Wakefield, and it was people over there waited up to 13 hours to get it overnight, over 13 hours. Actually, it wasn't overnight. It was like beyond that. We had a day for it. So we had to create it over here. So that was Big Papa, obviously named after Notorious B.I.G. So we had to do the West Coast version. We had to do Machiavelli over here. We had to do the Tupac.
Yeah, that's right.
So Machiavelli's coming out towards the end of this month as well. I believe, actually, I think it's the beginning of next month. We're going to have that packaged and ready to go. And that's going to be an imperial stout with vanilla, coconut, and coffee as well.
Sounds like vacation.
Snickerdoodle. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's all these fun flavors that I get to play around with.
Derek, no one is going to accuse you of being lazy in the slightest. You are so busy, man.
No, it's fun.
But you're doing what you love, so this is good.
I'm doing what I love, and just seeing everyone's face and everyone's reaction, and I check Untappd, not to check in beers, but to see people's feedback and to see how I can direct the styles that I'm making and make them better or not make them at all, depending on what the feedback is. And so far, so good. We're the Untappd's #1 rated brewery in San Diego, and really I'm proud of that. Making stuff that people like. Yeah.
Nice job. Derek Gallinosa, everyone, Abnormal Beer Company in Rancho Bernardo. What is the website, real quickly?
Abnormalbeer.co. So abnormalbeer.co. Yeah.
Abnormalbeer.co.
Yeah.
Pay him a visit, get a bite to eat when you're over there as well. And Derek, good luck with the rest of the beers you have coming down the line.
We also do beer dinners. So a couple other things. We do beer dinners. The next one is with Masamoto Family Farms. It's a organic family farm in Central Coast, and we're having different breweries who showcase their fruit participate. So we got Lost Abbey, Monkish, Modern Times, a couple new ones, Celador and Homage, and Craftsman participating in it. So what we do is we take essentially the same beer, like it's like a peach or nectarine sour, but we create different, with this particular event, we're going to create different pairings with it. So how do you play on the fruitiness? How do you play on the tart? How do you play on the acidity of the fruit? And that's going to be the challenge for us. So we do that, and then also I teach at San Diego State. I teach marketing craft beer.
Check you out. Well, and I have to commend you for the space at the breweries, and also it is beautiful.
Oh yeah.
It is just like the perfect like date night.
It is,
not,
yeah.
Like as much as I love like my brewery, as much as
Yeah.
I love my breweries and like the super industrial divey kind of thing, like Abnormal's not like that. It's like very nice. Like it's perfect for a date night. Really, really good food.
Oh yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. So, thank you guys.
Hi, buddy. Thanks for bringing the beers. We tried the #Yeast Mode, also the Boss Pour, and the M3 Imperial Stout. I didn't introduce these two wonderful people flanking us, but we've got producer Danielle is here. Give it up for producer Danielle. And Paul Segura from the Carl Strauss Brewing Company. Good to have you here. And Derek, thanks again for paying us a visit.
Yeah, no problem.
Make sure you check out, thanks for coming by, man. And we got to pay you a visit in our
that'll be fun. That'll be fun. Let me know.
Make sure you check out Beer for Breakfast ABV and the Beer for Breakfast radio editions at 91x.com. We'll post another one very, very soon. Check the archive, too. We got a lot of good previous ones in there, including the one with Derek from last year. Check it out, 91x.com.